Well, today we are get to look at Endangered, right? That's what we're looking at.
Yes, that's right.
It sounds like incredible, like safari type things. It looks like it from the cover, and it looks amazing. And let me just get a brief intro. So, who are you?
My name is Joe Hopkins. I am the designer for
Hi, Joe. Excellent.
Endangered is by Grand Gamers Guild, this is my first published design. And it's
Excellent.
a cooperative game where you work together to save a species from extinction.
Oh, that sounds awesome. And you have the tie to match and everything. You are like on board. I love it.
I'm a little worried this tie is a little more too Joe exotic, but
That's great. So tell us a little bit about the game. How'd you get this idea? Where, how many people does it play?
Sure. So Endangered plays 1 to 5 players. With 1 player, you would just control 2 characters, but it takes about an hour to play. And like I said before, it's a cooperative game, so you're all working together to save a species from extinction. This is a idea that I've been working on for about 5 years now. I've been designing games for 10 years, and this is my
nice.
first. Yeah, thank you. This is my first cooperative design. For a long time, I had avoided making a cooperative game because I know how much balance it takes to make a cooperative game. You really want the game to be on a knife edge. And I was like, well, I'm going to do a competitive game for a while. And I'm glad I finally switched over and tried a cooperative game because, yeah, like I said, this is my first published design. And I feel pretty good about the balance. It usually comes down to the end where that last round, you're not sure if you're going to win or lose. So
that's exciting. So you've been designing for 10 years, and then you're like, I'm going to go to co-op, and now suddenly you're getting a game published. So that's really exciting. So what are we doing in this game to cooperate and succeed at?
Sure, absolutely. So in order to win the game, you have to convince the UN ambassadors to pass a resolution to save the animals and stop the deforestation. So there are 6 Earth cards at the top. Those are the UN ambassadors. So each of them is a different country. And if you flip one over, so there's the USA. There you go. So
there you go.
You don't know which ones you're actually going to be working on. So your win conditions are revealed as the game goes on. So in order to win the game, you have to convince them to pass this legislation. But during the game, you're going to be moving these tigers that are on the board around, there's also going to be deforestation tiles that are going to come out that you might lose some of your animals. And so you lose the game if you run out of animals. You win the game if you get enough votes for the ambassadors. So anytime that you make a cooperative game, it's difficult to have the game on a knife edge where you're right on the edge of winning and losing at the same time. And the main way that you do that is if you have independent win and loss conditions. So you can be really close to getting all of the votes you need, but you can also be really close to losing all the animals. And if you lose all your animals, you lose. So.
Okay. So, like, how? So we don't want to lose the animals. So how might we lose the animals?
So every turn there's going to be these deforestation tiles that come out. And you're going to roll die to see where they land. If you roll poorly and they land on a space with animals, then you lose all the animals on that space. Also, there's an impact deck, and during the game, every single turn, you'll play a card from the impact deck. And the deck represents the human impact on the environment, which is sometimes good and mostly terrible. So you actually reveal the good card. You reveal the good card. There are some good cards in there, but most of them are terrible. So
you picked the one good one, Lincoln. Good for us. We're gonna win.
It happens. It happens.
It
So,
happens. So do the
um,
tigers move around the board as we go?
yep. So, most co-op games, there's a set of actions that each player can do on their turn, and this game is similar. But the actions that you have available to you are going to be different every game. There's 4 actions on the board; those will all be the same. But the players have their own decks of cards, and they'll play those action cards out onto the table. And those different
Mm.
action cards do lots of different things. So the actions that you have available to you will not only be different every game, but they'll also grow as the game goes on. So you can customize which actions you need for your situation. So um, yeah, so that card that you have there, that lets you get rid of some of those bad impact cards. But one
Oh,
of the
good.
actions on the board does let you move the animals around. So you can move the animals. You'll notice that sometimes the animals will be on the same space together. That's good because then you
Yeah.
have a mating pair and you can have more
Oh,
tigers.
we make more. But what if there's a disaster that happens there? Then we're just out of luck, huh?
Then you would lose both of those. So there is a risk at having 2
Okay.
animals on the same space. It's a risk reward. Having them on the same space means they might
Yes.
mate, but it also could be you could lose
A
2.
disaster. My luck, they
Yeah.
would all just like go away. Cool. So we have the standard actions on the side, and so we also have like a hand of cards we can choose from, or
Yep. So at the start of the game, everybody starts with 2 cards in their hand, and it's a cooperative game, so you're welcome to show each other your cards, share information. That's
talk
totally
about
fine.
it.
Talk about
Oh
it. Yeah.
wow.
Um, Each player has 2 cards in their hand, and you'll also draw an extra card every turn. So
Okay.
on your turn, what you're going to be doing is, like I said, you're going to be doing actions. Uh, what you'll do is you'll roll your 3 action dice that you have, and you'll place those 3 action dice onto the different action cards that are out on the board. So when you place your dice, they have to be bigger than the dice that are already there. So for example,
Oh.
if you wanted to move an animal, you could put your 5 onto the relocate space at the top of the board, and that would let you move one animal one space, and you could make another mating pair. The problem with that is
Ah.
that next turn, when someone wants to take that action, their die has to be bigger than the die you placed, so they would have to put a 6.
A 6.
And yeah. So they'd have to roll a 6, and it looks like you have the custom dice. Yep, the Kickstarter version has custom dice where that symbol represents the 6. So you did roll a 6 there, so you could do that.
Hey,
And
nice.
but now no one else can use that action because you can't go higher than a 6. So
Right.
you've
So you're
completely
locking
blocked
out
that.
that action. Ouch.
Yeah, yeah, that was a jerk move. I don't know
But
why you did that.
you only roll on your turn, so we can't see what everybody rolls and kind of discuss. I got you.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
So you would only see the 3 dice that you're working with, but there's definitely a lot of discussion that comes in, like, oh, don't block that, but because I need to do that on my turn. I've got a good card. So
Okay, so that's fair. And so how long you go? Did you say 6 rounds? You reveal a card at the top every time? Is that the game end or?
the game end depends on the number of players. There's a
Oh, okay.
calendar year track on the board, and
Ah,
as you get down to the third, yeah. So if you get down to the 3rd year or the 4th year, the game will end for a 5-player game. Um, so if you're playing a 2-player game, it won't end until you get all the way to the end
to
of the
the end.
track. Yep.
Okay.
So if you're playing a 1-player game, you would just play with 2 or 3 characters and end at whatever point it would indicate on the track. Um, so the game lasts about the same amount of time, about an hour, regardless of whether you're playing with 2 players or playing with 5 players.
Yeah, because you're still trying to complete the same missions and everything. It seems so.
Mhm.
Like, so how? So after the 9 rounds, if I'm playing 2-player, what do we check? We just check to see if we survive that long. Is that
No,
just?
Yeah, you have to check and see if you have convinced 4 of the 6 UN ambassadors.
Four of the
So,
six. Yeah.
or
Okay.
the 6. Yep.
And
So
so,
there's 6 ambassadors at the top. So
and they all
during the
have like
game,
objectives.
yep, they all care about different things.
Ah, okay.
During the
That
game,
makes sense.
you're going to be placing the green influence tokens on them. Every time you place an
Mm.
influence token onto an ambassador, they'll flip over, and then you'll see
Oh.
who it is. So, for example, the USA says you would count up how many influence it has, plus however many deforestation tiles are not on the board. And if
Mm.
that's 10 or more, then they will vote yes. So you can either give
Ah.
them a whole giant pile of influence, or you can just make sure you clean up the deforestation. Don't let any deforestation hit the board.
Ah, so that's
So
great. So
if
you're doing the you have options because you only need to complete four of them, you said. And so we might get
correct.
more or less. And so if we don't like something, we can try and reveal another one and complete that instead.
Yep, absolutely. If you have tons of deforestation on the board,
Nice.
you're not going to get the U.S. So
Yeah,
apparently,
just
America
not gonna do
wants to do easy things. So
that. All right, so we asked the chat for questions and we'll see if they come up with anything. But so it's obviously available right now and you can get this today. Now, is there a difference between the Kickstarter version and the retail version that we should know about? Or is it all pretty much the same content and you're going to get the same things in the
so
box?
yeah, it's a good question. So the Kickstarter version has custom dice, and then
Excellent.
it has spot coding on the front of the box. But everything else is the same. Rules are the same. Both the retail version and the Kickstarter version come with the tiger scenario and the sea otter scenario. And
Oh,
then we
cute.
also have the panda scenario, which is available at the store. Uh, yeah, the panda scenario. I really love that one. I started
You're
working
so
on this
cute.
game in, yeah, I started working on this game 5 years ago, and in 2016, pandas got taken off the endangered species list, and I was like, oh no! But
Oh no.
this,
Well, that's
we
fine.
decided,
We
no,
like
it's
that,
good.
in the real world.
It is good. Yes. No, it's great. So we still decided we wanted to keep the panda scenario for endangered because, I mean, it represents that like it is possible to save these species. Like it is possible for things
Yeah.
to get better. So it's a celebration of like the efforts that conservationists have done. So
No, it's really
yeah.
great.
So
Um,
the game is available at the Grand Gamers Guild store. So it's store.grandgamersguild.com.
Awesome. It's also, I believe, available if you're in the BGG chat on the main page. It's just there's a link right there. So buy it now, right below on the BGG.com/live. It's also right there. Um,
So
that means
for
so. Tell me, how does the
oh, go
difference
ahead.
between the tiger and like panda or the otter?
Sure. So uh, for the uh, sorry, um, one thing about the store is you can get free shipping right now using
Okay,
the
great,
promo code BGG. So,
excellent.
yeah, so the tiger scenario and the panda scenario, each of them have different rules for how those animals mate. And it also, so to get more animals, it also has different rules for how the destruction tiles will come into play. And each of them has its own impact
Ah,
deck. So they all have different threats. I did a lot of research on each of these species to make sure I was representing the threats that those species actually face in the real world. So, in the tiger side of the on the tiger scenario, you'll have deforestation tiles. But on the opposite side of the board is a water board, and your
oh, for the
tiles will
otter.
be Yep. Your tiles will be pollution tiles or oil. There's an oil spill that is slowly moving toward your otters, so you have to move them out of the way. So
Oh yeah. Okay, so it's just different kind of how to save the different species. That's really cool, and could be endless depending on the animals that you want to create. That's awesome.
yeah, we've
Um,
got. some content. We've got a lot of different scenarios for expansions that we're working on. So I have 6 that are pretty much ready to go.
Oh my goodness. You're like on
Yeah.
it. Anything you can tell us about?
So the sea turtles is done and ready to go. We have a scenario for polar bears and elephants. Um, we're still I've got 12 different scenarios that I've been working on and 6 that are pretty much ready to go. So yeah. Additionally, so the game comes with 5 player decks. We also have a promo out right now on the Grand Gamer Guild store that's free. It's the celebrity player deck.
Oh,
So it
cool.
has its own special powers and abilities. Yep. So
And so players, anybody can just go on and just download this content to play.
yeah, there's
Free, you said?
a print and play.
And print
I
and
think
play?
it's free. Yeah. We definitely have some free content. We also have some that's like $1 or $2. So
Excellent. So you have all these expansions. They're probably going to hit Kickstarter at some point when they're more finished, or
hopefully.
hopefully. And so that's exciting. That's something to look forward to. Is there anything else from Grand Gamers Guild that you would like to talk about, or anything else that you have in the works, or?
Um, so I mentioned the free shipping with the promo code BGG. Uh, you also get we have some mini expansions that you get for free with that code. It's the Tantrum House ambassadors that we have, and then we
Oh,
also
nice.
have partners. Also have a partnership with the Center for Biological Diversity. So we have a mini
Oh,
promo for that as well. So you get that for free as well with the BGG code. So and
oh,
then
that sounds excellent.
yeah, you can also
Somebody
sign up
actually
for the
asked,
newsletter.
yeah, sign up for the newsletter, and then you hear all about all the expansions, hopefully. um, Games of Fire asks, are you working on koalas?
So after the fires in Australia, that seems like so long ago. But yeah, we
It was this
started
year,
looking at
right?
it was this year. This year was it was so long ago, right?
Yes.
Um, yeah. I haven't done one for koalas yet. But we have been looking for like suggestions from people and even asking some other designers to start, maybe putting together their own scenario for this. So yeah, so if you have ideas, I'd love to hear them. I thought about doing uh, like in a Australia cane toad scenario where you actually don't want the animals.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So because you've been working on this for so long, did you go to a lot of zoos? How did you get all your like insight to all of this? Tell me a little bit more about like how this like developed.
Sure. So most of the research I did online. We did talk with the Center for Biological Diversity, like I mentioned. They checked to make sure everything that we were putting in the game was correct and made sense and really represented what conservationists actually do and actually face. Um,
Nice.
I played with a zookeeper. Um, so there are parts of the game that are still just a game. It's a game first. We we had Dice Tower actually reviewed it, and we got the Dice Tower seal of approval. And he mentioned in it that like it's a solid game. Like the gameplay is first. We want players to have fun.
Oh,
The message is still great to have, though.
yeah, of course. I just didn't know if it was the idea first or the game was first kind of thing, like where you kind of took it, like how it's changed over the years. Has it changed much, or did you basically have the idea and just kind of tweak it as you go?
I mean, this one was a really good marriage of like mechanics and theme. but it's definitely changed a lot as we've gone. Like the otters and the tigers weren't my first scenario. I had a scenario for black rhinos, and that was the first one. And there were
Ah, okay.
uh, just I had a ton of animals on the board, and I was like, well, this is too many animals. We gotta get
It's
rid of
too
some of
much.
these.
Yeah.
So,
That's
but yeah, it's
awesome.
definitely changed. So
We got a lot of love for your tie in the chat. Everybody loves your tie. So,
thank you. I love it as well.
how long have you
My
had your
wife
tie?
My wife got it for me. I think she got it for me 3 years ago. She has been amazing. She's been very supportive. My son as well. He loves animals. Hi to Amanda and James. Yeah, it's. Um, I, I figured I might as well, right?
No, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Somebody wanted to follow up and ask, when are the expansions coming out? You didn't really say that they were or were not, but you kind of said, oh, they might be in the works, so there might not be a date yet, I suppose.
Uh, it's not up to me. It's up
It's
to
not up to
Grand
you.
Gamers
If it's up to
Guild.
you, they're all coming out right now.
Yeah. So I have six that I'm feeling pretty good about. They still need a little bit more play testing, and
Of
we're
course.
going to be putting those out to backers at some point and asking for feedback from players as well. Those will be available for print and play in some form, so we can get some feedback. But as far as the actual date of the Kickstarter, it's not up to me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Just see if there's a. Oh, so Eric Martin wants a Murder Hornets expansion. Just keep that in mind.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, so I think this all sounds amazing. You guys did well with Kickstarter. Hopefully, there's well enough to get some more expansions coming out. This is definitely one I want to try. I
Yeah.
love animals. I love like the theme, of course. Um, just check it out. It's on the Game Geek Shop. Geek Game Shop. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna get that wrong. But it's available now. You can get it right now, either through us or through the Grand Gamers Guild. And so I mean, is there anything you have a few minutes? If there's anything you'd like to add, just throw it in. But there's the little Geek Game Shop on the screen. Yay!
Yeah, go check it out. So, uh, yeah, Endangered. The box cover is by Beth Sobel, and she did
Beautiful.
the art for the otter scenario, and then Ben Flores did our art for the panda and tigers. So he did a great job as well. So
Yeah, incredible. It looks fantastic. So thank you very much, Joe, for showing us your game. It seems amazing, and hopefully we'll see more from you later.
yeah, no, absolutely. So I have another game that is under contract with Academy Games. So that's hopefully going to be
Oh.
hitting Kickstarter later this year. So that one's a completely different game. It's a dexterity
Oh,
battle
dexterity.
game. Like,
Nice.
yeah,
I like dexterity. That's fun.
nice, nice.
Excellent. So we will be on the lookout for that as well. Thank you very much for coming on and showing us everything about Endangered.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was fun.